Hi, and welcome to another Talk to the Hand review, this time about Forged in Fire, a block game that's not as well known as some of its brethren like Hammer of the Scots, but certainly deserves to be. It's a real sleeper hit, I think, that tells the story of the 1862 Peninsular Campaign in the Civil War in a very interesting and compelling way. The map shows the peninsula, this long, narrow stretch of land going all the way from Fort Monroe and Yorktown over here down to Richmond over here. And really the big question for the Union in playing this game is, how do I get from that end of the map to the other end of the map effectively? It's the march to Richmond through the back door that George McClellan tried to take. Like many ideas early in the Civil War, it was a good idea, but very, very badly executed. And this game has a lot of clever ways of showing you some of the problems faced by the Union in fighting this campaign. Alright, there are two keys to understanding Forged in Fire. One is geography. So here's where the Union Army is going to be starting at the beginning of the game. Of course, they have to travel all the way down the peninsula to Richmond. And this really then confronts the Union with two major strategic choices. One, fight a slow, steady battle, town by town, all the way down every road and rail line they can, down the course of the peninsula, with the Confederates trying to block their way as they go. Or using the rivers here to land a corps behind the Confederate lines, throwing the Confederates off balance, giving the Union some more opportunities to surprise their opponents. The trick here, however, is that in order to use the York River, you have to take Yorktown. Not too hard, but of course you don't get very far compared to the entire distance of the map here that you might be traveling during the course of the game all the way down to Richmond. The better way to go is down the James River here. Unfortunately, there's one tough customer waiting for you on the James River, and that is the CSS Virginia. So, to be able to do amphibious landings down the course of the James River, you have to knock out the Virginia, which is no small feat. So, to begin with, Forged in Fire gives you some very, very interesting strategic and operational problems to solve. It makes it one of those war games you can play over and over again, trying different approaches each time. The second part, however, that makes this game fascinating is something you'll see over here, which is the McClellan confidence track. And that's intimately tied into command and control. So every turn, both sides are going to get a couple of activations. Use an activation to activate a corps. Again, that could be here the Corps Commander Longstreet and a couple of the other corps that happen to be in adjacent locations. You could use two activations to do an amphibious landing of a corps. Anyway, activations are key. You only have a few of them, so you got to use them well. Therefore, anybody who gets an extra activation is going to have an edge that's going to build up over time as long as one side has that extra activation, the other side doesn't. So what you do to get the extra activation is you roll 2 dice. Your army commander is going to have a particular rating. For the Confederates, it's going to be Johnston's to begin with, which is a 9. If you roll 2 dice, you hit a 9 or above, you get that extra activation. Once the Union gets all the way down near Richmond, Lee takes over. The activation number becomes a lot lower, it becomes a 7, it becomes that much easier then for the Confederates to get that one extra activation. On the other hand, the Union has a very bad time here with the extra activations. Playing this game, you're going to feel the damn you McClellan moments of frustration because you know that the Union Army has the strength in order to defeat the Confederates, but it just can't quite seem to get moving. So that's the whole reason for the McClellan confidence track. It reflects both Lincoln's confidence in McClellan, his willingness to send him extra supplies and troops, It also reflects McClellan's confidence in himself and in his own army, his willingness to concede that, yes, not every I is dotted, not every T is crossed, but the army's ready to move. So, obviously, rolling 2 dice and hitting a 13, you can't do that to begin with. McClellan's got to start doing things that will gain confidence. That means winning battles. Both sides, therefore, are going to be spending a lot of their time trying to guess what's a good risk for the effect it's going to have on the McClellan confidence track. Will the Union be able to win a battle in order to boost the confidence rating? Will the Confederates think that they can win the battle to drop it? Will they think about raiding the supply depot or supply train in order to further dash the hopes of the Union? It's those kinds of things that keep the game spicy, and that combined with all the other mechanics in the game give it a real honest Civil War feel. Now I'll mention 2 minor issues with Forged in Fire. One of them is easily fixed. The map board does not have really a lot of player aid information, and neither does the rulebook. Even on the back cover isn't exactly a consolidated reference of all the tables you need about activation costs, terrain costs, and so forth. So this is easily fixed by downloading and printing a reference somebody put on Board Game Geek for the game. The other thing I'll mention, just because some people are not great fans of battle boards, the battles are fought on the battle board. They have one neat little innovation that the flanking areas on the left and right, if you're unopposed, let's say like here, and your corps commander makes a roll, whoever's fighting here on the flank can do damage a little bit more easily. It's good. It adds to the color of the game. For a lot of people, the battle board is going to be a definite plus because of the extra historical color it gives. On the other hand, people who are not big fans of battle boards may not like it, but it's not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. Forged in Fire is a terrific game. It's great for Civil War buffs. It covers a campaign that hasn't really been given a lot of attention by war games. It's got a lot of replay value, and as a block game, it's easy to get into if you've played other block games, so I strongly recommend it.